people want to know the basics of what is actually on the Gmat. So we're going to give you a quick summary of what's on it. So first of all, when you go in to take the Gmat, there's going to be 4 sections. You're going to have an essay section, an integrated reasoning section, a math section, and a verbal section. You do get breaks after the integrated reasoning and after the math. So as you go in, the first thing is your essay section. So that's this. You get 30 minutes on your essay, and your essay is an analysis of an argument. In other words, someone else has an argument, you evaluate how well they argue, and the fact that it's on the Gmat means it's a very poor argument, and there's lots of holes that you can attack. The integrated reasoning section is also 30 minutes, and in the integrated reasoning section, you do a lot with reading charts and graphs. There is math involved as well as verbal. You even do spreadsheets. It's much more like real life. This is a fairly recent section, came onto the test in June of 2012. Then you also have your math section. Your math section is 75 minutes, as is your verbal section. Your math section has 2 question types. So first of all is problem solving, and next is something called data sufficiency. So on your math section, you do have 37 questions. 22 will be problem solving, 15 data sufficiency, so heavier on the problem solving. The problem solvings are just the normal math question. Here's a math question, here's 5 answer choices, choose the best one. Data sufficiency is a very different way to be asked a math question. In those, you're trying to say, do I have enough data to answer their question? Now, the areas of math that you're tested on are things like algebra, geometry. You also have, really, arithmetic. So seriously, arithmetic, adding, subtracting fractions, and all of that. You also have various kinds of word problems. Like things like rate and time, that kind of thing. You do have some statistics-based problems, things like averages, weighted averages. And then finally, you also have to deal with things that we just call number properties. And number properties are things like primes, factors, multiples, prime factors, and so a lot of things you just need to learn there. So that's the basic areas of math you're tested on the Gmat. So next let's talk about the verbal section. Here you have 3 different problem types. So you have sentence correction, I'll just call it sentence. Then you also have critical reasoning, I'll just call it critical. And you also have reading comprehension. So starting with reading comprehension, that is just like any other reading on any other standardized test you've taken. You have a passage followed by several questions. Critical reasoning are 1 paragraph long arguments, and you're asked to do various things with them. Sometimes strengthen or weaken or point out flaws or point out assumptions, draw inferences, resolve discrepancies, things along those lines. And you also have sentence correction, which is essentially grammar. In the sentence correction questions, you're given a sentence and 5 answer choices that change up the sentence, and you're asked to choose the best version of the sentence, the one that's grammatically correct and the best said. So in the verbal, this will be about 16 of your questions, 13 and 12, for a total of 41 questions. Now, with all that said, you then get 5 total Gmat scores. You get an essay score that goes from 0 to 6, an integrated reasoning score that goes from 0 to 8, math and verbal scores that go from 0 to 60, and then you get a combined score that is just the math and the verbal combined, and that goes from 200 to 800. Again, these 2 scores have no effect on your 200 to 800 score, only the math and the verbal do. And they weigh about equally. So those are just the basics of what areas are tested on the Gmat.